So somebody wrote in and said, I know I tend to be too sensitive and take people's comments too seriously, when I know intellectually there is no need to worry or be angry at what others say to me. Am I not applying the antidotes for anger fast enough? Does that question resonate with anybody? Anybody here too sensitive to what other people say about them? Only you? Oh, 2 others, 3, 4, 5. A few of you don't have your hands up. That's fantastic. Okay, so this is a big problem, isn't it? I read in one study that somebody did a study of what people were more afraid of, public speaking or death. And they were more afraid of death, you know, because public speaking. Oh, I'm sorry. They were more afraid of public speaking, sorry, than death. Okay. Why? Because public speaking, you're out there and there's the potential for people to criticize you. So even if you're not doing public speaking, even you're just talking to 2 people or 3 people, it's still public, isn't it? And there's the potential that somebody could go, oh, you know. So then we get upset, then we doubt ourselves, we get anxious before we're with the people, we get anxious after we're with the people, you know, our mind just spins. And meanwhile, the other people are actually too busy thinking about themselves to think about us much. We just think that they are always thinking about us, don't we? Okay, so yes, you know, we aren't applying the antidotes to anger fast enough. But one of the things is, there's a few elements here. One is that we need to be familiar with the antidotes to anger before the situation arises. And that's why it's good to do continuous meditation on far-reaching fortitude or far-reaching patience. Okay, chapter 6 in Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And read Healing Anger, read Working with Anger, okay, and then practice it. But then also, you know, why do we get so angry when, you know, we're afraid of what people are going to say to us? Well, the anger, put it this way, the degree of the anger corresponds with the degree of attachment we have for our reputation, okay? And the degree of attachment we have to hearing nice, ego-pleasing words. So the more we want to hear nice words and have a good reputation, the more anxious we're going to be, thinking that we won't get those, or that we'll get the opposite, and people might criticize us or ridicule us or, you know, disagree with our ideas. Imagine that, you know. So, you know, we have to also work on the attachment angle of it too. And so there's some parts in chapter 8 of Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life, you know, where he talks also there about attachment to reputation and praise and so on. And what I find helpful in working with those myself, there's a few things. One is to ask myself, what good does praise do me? You know, and what good does a good reputation do me? You know, when I actually think about my values in life, you know, what's important to me? You know, being kind, keeping good ethical conduct, going for, you know, creating the cause for liberation, generating bodhicitta, realizing emptiness, trying to become a Buddha. Does other people's approval facilitate any of those things that are really important to me in my life? No. Does a good reputation facilitate any of those things that are important to me in my life? No. Then why am I so attached to those things? Doesn't make much sense, does it? Yeah. So I'll leave you with that one to think about today. There's some more, but that one I think is, I personally find it very effective. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But those commentaries affect you, for instance, at work.
Mm-hmm.
What should you do?
Well, okay. So this is if those comments affect us at work, yeah, then we have to ask, well, what's important to us? Okay, like I was just saying, you know, I do something at work, my boss doesn't like it. Well, what's important to me? Is it my boss's opinion of who my boss thinks I am? Or is it my practice on the path to enlightenment? What really is more meaningful to me in my life? Yeah. Well, it's working with my own mind and progressing along the path. Yeah. Now, I don't want to just ignore what my boss says. Okay. If what my boss says is true, then I need to do something about it. If it's not true, then I can talk to him or her and explain. But in either case, you know, what my boss says is not the meaning of my life. Is it? You know, my boss is my boss for, you know, how long? Not so long. Yeah, and it's only in a work situation, and he or she's another sentient being. Yeah. Now, if my boss were a Buddha, and my boss and then commented on my behavior, I think I'd listen a lot, you know. that, like, oh yeah, that affects the major things that are important to me in my life, you know. If a Buddha tells me I'm practicing the path wrong, I better listen. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, you still listen to what the boss says, but we don't need to, you know, be so reactive to it. Because it's, you know, what that person says is just one sentient being, and it's not about, you know, how does that person's praise help our path to enlightenment? How does that person's criticism harm our path to enlightenment? Doesn't. Yeah. If anything, the criticism helps our path to enlightenment because it gives us the opportunity to practice fortitude and to let go of attachment. Yeah. That's why bodhisattvas love criticism. And that's why we run away from it as fast as we can.